What you're looking at is the Barracuda-500, a new cruise missile that could decide the fate of Taiwan. Its most powerful feature isn't its warhead or its range, it's the price tag, a stunning $216,000. For the cost of a single advanced Chinese warship, Taiwan could launch a swarm of hundreds of these. With China's nuclear arsenal surging and new Guam killer missiles threatening U.S. bases, this cheap weapon is Taiwan's answer. But will it be enough to stop a Chinese military that U.S. intelligence says could be ready by 2027? Stick around, because the details of this U.S. Taiwan partnership are more shocking than you think. There is a date that has become a focal point for military planners in Washington, Taipei, and Beijing: 2027. This isn't just a random year, it's a deadline that has reshaped defense budgets and military strategy across the entire Pacific. Understanding why this date matters is the key to understanding why a missile that costs just $216,000 could change everything. The alarm was first sounded in March of 2021. Admiral Philip Davidson, then the commander of all U.S. forces in the Pacific, gave a stark warning to the Senate Armed Services Committee. He stated that the threat of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan is manifest during this decade, in fact, in the next 6 years. That timeline was immediately dubbed the Davidson window, establishing 2027 as the moment when the danger would be at its peak. This wasn't just one admiral's opinion. Soon after, CIA Director William Burns confirmed it, stating that U.S. intelligence showed Chinese President Xi Jinping had ordered his military to be ready to conduct a successful invasion by that year. So what's so special about 2027? For China, it's a year loaded with symbolic power. It marks the 100th anniversary of the founding of the People's Liberation Army, and Xi has demanded that his forces achieve key modernization goals by then. It's also the year he's expected to secure an unprecedented fourth term as China's leader, creating a powerful political incentive to show progress on his promise of national rejuvenation, which for him includes unifying with Taiwan. This deadline has lit a fire under defense planners. It has directly influenced U.S. spending, with the Pacific Deterrence Initiative receiving 60% more funding than the Pentagon even asked for in fiscal year 2024. It has also forced Taiwan to accelerate its own defense reforms. But here's the thing you need to know. Most experts don't see this as a fixed invasion date. Instead, it's the year the PLA is expected to have the full capability to invade. Whether they choose to do so is another question entirely. An amphibious invasion across the 100-mile-wide Taiwan Strait would be one of the most complex and dangerous military operations in history. But against this ticking clock, Taiwan and the U.S. are betting on a new weapon so cheap it almost sounds like a mistake. At a defense exhibition in Taipei in September 2025, Taiwan unveiled its new secret weapon, the Barracuda-500. This is an autonomous, low-cost cruise missile designed by the American tech firm Anduril. And when we say low-cost, we mean it. Company materials and recent Taiwanese reporting set a target price of about $216,000 per missile, a production goal not yet a proven figure. This price point is the most important feature of the weapon because it completely disrupts the economics of modern warfare. Let's break down what this missile can do. The Barracuda-500 is the largest variant in its family, designed for long-range strikes. Public specifications list an operational range of over 500 nautical miles, about 575 miles, when launched from a plane. This allows a Taiwanese fighter jet to launch the missile from a safe distance, far from China's most formidable air defenses. It carries a warhead weighing over 100 pounds, which is more than enough to inflict major damage on a warship, especially when you send a lot of them at once. While it's a subsonic missile traveling at about 568 miles per hour, its real strength lies in its versatility and its brain. One of the key features is that it can be launched from almost anything. It can be fitted onto fighter jets like the F-16, which is the backbone of Taiwan's Air Force. But more importantly, the U.S. Air Force's Rapid Dragon program shows how cargo planes like a C-130 could airdrop palletized cruise missiles, a concept that could also apply to Barracuda-class weapons. This technique could turn Taiwan's entire transport fleet into a massive standoff arsenal, making it incredibly difficult for China to know where an attack might come from. But the most advanced feature is its software. The Barracuda is designed for what's called collaborative autonomy. This means a group of missiles can work together as a networked swarm. They can communicate with each other, act as decoys, share targeting data, and coordinate a simultaneous strike from multiple directions, all without a human in the loop. This is how you overwhelm even the most advanced defenses. The future of warfare will be determined by software. A smaller, swifter, and more agile force that uses technology to its advantage will have a decisive edge. We are building systems to give our warfighters that edge at a massive scale. Palmer Luckey, founder of Anduril. You see, Anduril's entire philosophy is built around hyperscale production. The missile is designed to be built with 10 or fewer common tools, uses 50% fewer parts than competing missiles, and relies on commercially available components. This cuts production time in half and makes it, on average, 30% cheaper than other solutions. For context, an advanced Western anti-ship missile can cost over $3 million, more than a dozen Barracudas at the target price. This weapon isn't just a piece of hardware, it's a strategy. But a cheap missile is useless if you can't build it when you need it most. And that's where the U.S. made a move that sent a direct, unambiguous message to Beijing. Taiwanese officials and recent reporting indicate plans for local production of the Barracuda-500. More than just an arms sale, it represents a partnership aligned with Taiwan's entire defense philosophy, the Porcupine Strategy. The idea is simple. Taiwan knows it can't match China's military symmetrically, ship for ship or plane for plane. So instead, it aims to make itself so difficult and painful to attack that China decides an invasion just isn't worth the cost. The Barracuda-500, cheap, numerous, and lethal, is the sharpest new quill on this porcupine's back. My strategic concept is to use our limited resources to build an asymmetric warfare capability. The purpose is to make China believe that if it attacks Taiwan, it will suffer such a great loss that it will be unbearable for them. Admiral Li Si-ming, former chief of the General Staff of Taiwan's military. This strategy is all about imposing a punishingly unfavorable cost-exchange ratio on the Chinese military. Think about it. A modern warship like the Plan's Type 055 destroyer is a $1.2 to $1.5 billion asset. The defensive missiles it carries to protect itself can cost several $1 million apiece. The Barracuda allows Taiwan to threaten that billion-dollar ship with a $216,000 weapon. This economic advantage is a weapon in itself. Taiwan can afford to launch waves of these missiles, forcing the Chinese fleet to expend a vast number of its incredibly expensive interceptors. Even if most of the Barracudas are shot down, the financial cost of the defender is immense. And if just a few got through and hit their targets, the strategic loss for China would be catastrophic. The doctrine this enables is called a saturation attack. Instead of relying on one or two highly advanced missiles, you overwhelm the enemy's defenses with sheer numbers. The Barracuda's collective swarm technology is tailor-made for this. A swarm of missiles could be launched, with some programmed to fly high and act as decoys, while the main group screams toward the target from different directions just above the waves. This multi-axis, simultaneous attack is a nightmare for even the best air defense systems, which can only track so many targets at once. The primary targets for these swarms are the most valuable and vulnerable ships in an invasion fleet, the large amphibious landing ships that would carry the thousands of troops needed to take the island. The goal of the Porcupine Strategy is to defeat an invasion before it ever reaches the beaches. By credibly threatening to sink a huge portion of that amphibious fleet in the middle of the Taiwan Strait, the Barracuda missile is designed to make the entire invasion plan look like a doomed mission. But as Taiwan sharpens its quills, the dragon is also sharpening its claws. And China has a formidable defense it believes can stop this swarm dead in its tracks. While the Barracuda-500 missile gives Taiwan a powerful new tool, it's not a silver bullet. The People's Liberation Army is acutely aware of this threat and has built one of the most advanced and multi-layered naval air defense networks on the planet. From Beijing's perspective, this new missile doesn't fundamentally change the military balance, which they believe is overwhelmingly in their favor. The contest is not a simple duel. It's a complex competition between Taiwan's kill chain and China's efforts to break it at every link. The centerpiece of China's naval defenses is the Type 055 Renhai-class cruiser. This is a massive warship, so capable that the U.S. military classifies it as a cruiser rather than a destroyer. It's designed to be the primary air defense shield for China's aircraft carriers and amphibious assault groups. The Type 055 is equipped with a sophisticated radar system that provides 360-degree coverage and can track dozens of small, fast-moving targets like cruise missiles simultaneously. Its main weapon is a battery of 112 vertical launch system cells, capable of firing long-range surface-to-air missiles. For any threat that gets past that outer layer, the ship has multiple close-in weapon systems, including short-range missiles and a 30mm Gatling-style cannon that fires thousands of rounds per minute. The PLA's strategy wouldn't just be to sit back and wait for the swarm. Any invasion would begin with a massive wave of preemptive strikes. China has a huge arsenal of its own advanced missiles, including the DF-17, which carries a hypersonic glide vehicle that is nearly impossible for current defenses to intercept, and the DF-26, nicknamed the Guam Killer for its ability to strike U.S. bases thousands of miles away. Hundreds of these missiles would rain down on Taiwan in the opening hours of a conflict, targeting air bases, ports, radar stations, and command and control centers. We will not renounce the use of force, and we reserve the option of taking all necessary measures. The complete reunification of our country must be realized, and it can, without doubt, be realized. This is a historical task that cannot be handed down. Xi Jinping. This is the real challenge for Taiwan. The Barracuda missiles are only effective if they can be launched. And to launch them, Taiwan's entire kill chain has to survive that initial onslaught. They have to be able to detect the Chinese fleet, track it, target it, and communicate that data to the launchers. The PLA will do everything in its power to break that chain. That's why Taiwan is also investing heavily in its own defenses, like the new homegrown Strongbow interceptor, a system designed to counter those very hypersonic threats. The $216,000 missile is a powerful weapon, but its success depends on Taiwan's ability to withstand the first devastating punch. The question remains, will it be enough to make the price of invasion simply too high for Beijing to pay? Let us know. Like and subscribe for more.